This is CBN NewsWatch.
And thank you so much for joining us for this first edition of CBN NewsWatch for Friday, August 23rd. I'm Ephraim Graham. It has been a week filled with speculation about a downturn in the economy as several key indicators spelled bad news. The Congressional Budget Office predicts the federal deficit will exceed $1 trillion by next year. And the Bureau of Labor Statistics revisited its numbers to reveal the economy created 500,000 fewer jobs than originally reported. However, the Trump administration remains positive, and the president says if anyone is to blame for it is the Fed for not lowering interest rates.
Folks are working, they're spending, and they're saving, which is terrific. And there's no end, to me, there's no end in sight.
I think I could be helped out by the Fed, but the Fed doesn't like helping me too much.
Returning now to senior Washington correspondent Jennifer Wishon, who's joining us now with more on the economy. So, Jennifer, the administration is maintaining a message of confidence, but are officials floating any solutions to what we're hearing?
Yeah, Ephraim, the president's chief economic officer, Larry Kudlow, who we just heard from, said for some time the administration has been considering another round of tax cuts. They're calling this Tax Cuts 2.0. This would be a package of cuts and incentives for the middle class, small businesses. But we don't know the details yet because they're planning to roll that out sometime during the presidential campaign. I can only imagine this will come once the general election really gets cranked up, probably next fall, because it's something that would likely give the president a boost.
And speaking of campaigning, how are the Democrats on the campaign trail reacting now to all of this?
Well, this is tricky for Democrats because they know that certainly bad economic news could be a positive for them. We heard frontrunner Joe Biden on the stump this week blaming some of these bad signs on the president's trade war with China, but then he quickly added that he, of course, would never wish for a recession here in the U.S. So it's tricky because Democrats know that bad economic news would certainly give them a boost in 2020, especially since among the president's approval rating, the numbers around his handling of the economy are the strongest. So if the economy were to crumble, then that would make the president very vulnerable. Democrats are going to have to be careful, though. They can't be advocating for bad economic news, even though they may secretly be hoping that there is a downturn.
Well, Jennifer, we know the president is attending the G7 summit in France this weekend with all that's going on. What's the focus? What will the focus be there?
Well, Ephraim, I think we're going to hear him talk about more of the same. I think the economy is still going to be in the news because, even while, we are seeing some of these signs here at home, the U.S. economy is pretty strong compared to a lot of the other G7 countries. So I think we're going to hear the president encourage leaders to be more like the U.S. where the economy is concerned. And actually, Ephraim, tomorrow morning, leaders are going to meet to specifically discuss the economy and trade policy. And this meeting is happening at the urging of President Trump. So expect the economy to still be in the headlines over the weekend heading into next week.
All right, we'll be watching that for sure. Jennifer Wishon reporting for us from our Washington bureau. Jennifer, thank you.
Thank you.
Democrat presidential candidate frontrunner Joe Biden hopes to lock in his lead with the first television ad of his campaign.
We have to beat Donald Trump.
It is a message Joe Biden's wife, Jill, is also helping to pitch in the campaign trail. But not all Democratic voters are confident with Biden's electability.
Biden has done us great, his whole history with us, for the Democratic Party, but I feel like his time is done, and we need a little bit more new blood to get in there to fight.
Some caution Biden might be putting too much faith in the polls as other candidates gain more national name recognition. Tropical storm Chantal weakens out in the Atlantic. The National Weather Service predicts it will just be a remnant tonight. It is the first named storm in the Atlantic for this hurricane season. Meteorologists are calling this season the calmest in more than 3 decades, but predict that could change between now and mid-September. Last year, Category 5 Hurricane Michael hit Florida's Gulf Coast with 160-mile-an-hour winds, causing $25 billion in damage. A year later, survivors are still suffering. But as Caitlin Burke now reports, some are getting help through something called Project Hope.
Melissa Anderson is in survival mode.
Really, just pushing myself to get out of bed every day. Because even when you build yourself up to the point of thinking, okay, I'm gonna get my day going, my week going. You walk out of the front door and you look and it's just complete devastation everywhere.
Her family lost everything when Category 5 Hurricane Michael ripped through the Panhandle. She didn't realize that the heaviness she felt was actually anxiety and depression.
We don't exactly talk about our feelings. We just all kind of bottled up and living like gypsies because we're homeless, so from hotel to room.
Hurricanes and other natural disasters lead to an incredible amount of stress and anxiety for survivors, contributing to mental health issues like depression and PTSD.
Instead of waiting for people to seek help, counselors from the Life Management Center of Northwest Florida are able to search for those who need assistance. It's part of a program called Project Hope.
We just go out in the community, we kind of talk to people about who we are, and we make them aware of what resources are available to them for us in the mental health setting, as well as something as simple as just coping skills.
As counselors go door to door, they're not looking to diagnose people. They're simply looking to connect.
Sometimes just seeing people to know that someone believes in them, someone believes that they can recover, someone believes that they can get over the current situation in their life, that means a lot.
That's what Jamaica Tompkins has been for Melissa and her family.
She's been a real light in our lives. She's been really sweet. It's just really a tough thing. Everybody's going through it, and to have somebody to be a source of positivity and refreshment, encouragement, it's been well needed.
I think it's just important that we all know that anytime somebody goes through a trauma, whether it's a personal trauma or a mass trauma like the hurricane has been, that it can affect our mental health for anybody. And we've seen this affect people from the lowest of income in our area to the highest of income, those that had less stability in their lives prior to those who had the most stability, in their lives prior to the hurricane. It's affected everybody. And I think people just need to know that it's okay to reach out and get assistance when you need it.
Community Relations Head Tricia Pierce has helped get Project Hope volunteers into organizations like the Boys and Girls Club.
If you have coping skills that are not listed on here, it gives you a spot on the back to write them down. Do you guys want to hear our examples of our wellness tools?
I think the staff from Project Hope has done a great job at trying to build a relationship with the kids that are here. That's the most important thing that you can do with a young person, is to develop a relationship with them and to see what they're interested in, find out what they're good at, or maybe just try to begin a conversation and the dialogue with their personal life a little bit. And then that's how you make the connection with a child, and then they're more apt to share.
While this FEMA program is helping meet the mental health needs of this community through February of next year, counselors hope disaster stays away, so it won't be needed again anytime soon. Caitlin Burke, CBN News, Panama City, Florida.
Some Christians believe recent earthquakes in Israel are a sign of the fulfillment of New Testament prophecy about the return of Jesus. The Geological Survey of Israel believes they were triggered from pumping water from wells near the Sea of Galilee. As far as the prophecy, there are many scriptures that reference earthquakes. Christian author and geologist Gaines Johnson urges caution, saying quakes happen all across the earth every day, and the amount has been constant for decades. A reminder for you, you can get all the latest news from the Holy Land and our Middle East Bureau, Chris Mitchell, tonight on Jerusalem Dateline. It begins at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time on the CBN News Channel. Ashley Bratcher, star of the faith-based film Unplanned, recently announced the launch of a new scholarship designed specifically for mothers-to-be with unexpected pregnancies. Bratcher tweeted, "I'm so excited to announce I've partnered with Heartbeat International to launch the Unplanned Movie Scholarship to offer moms facing unplanned pregnancies educational scholarships so they can continue pursuing their dreams while raising their children." The website for the scholarship has an image of Bratcher, who played Abby Johnson in the movie, and a goal statement, quote, empowering mothers to chase their dreams. It also says, while plans may shift when the unexpected happens, it doesn't mean that dreams need to stop completely. Women who qualify for the pro-life grant will be eligible for $5,000 in scholarships. Stay with us. Coming up, a personal journey into the life, legend, and faith of legendary musician Johnny Cash. Stay with us.
Life. It's meant to be lived fully. Jesus said it. I came to give you life. Life to the fullest. Life in your family. Life in your finances. Life in your body, mind, and spirit. Life in your everyday. At CBN.com, we're taking what Jesus said seriously. We're here to help you discover life. Life. Live it fully. CBN.com. Want to be a part of a community that inspires your spiritual growth while winning prizes? The all-new MyCBN app. Connect with the community for prayer and encouragement. Track and set spiritual goals. Enjoy conversation starters with friends and family. And collect points to win prizes. The all-new MyCBN app. A great place to belong. Download the app at cbn.com/mobile. Grow, connect, have fun. The all-new MyCBN app.
Watch breaking news, in-depth exclusive stories and programs, from health to entertainment, you won't find anywhere else. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Enjoy credible news reporting from around the world. Discover inspiring programs and stories of hope, all in one place from a Christian perspective. The CBN News Channel, a perspective you can trust. Check your local listings or visit cbnnewschannel.com.
Come home to the sounds of Southern Gospel from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites like the Gaithers, the Crab Family, and bluegrass sounds like Mountain Faith. So make yourself at home with the all-new CBN Southern Gospel, now available at cbnradio.com.
There's a new book about the music legend Johnny Cash and his faith. It's written by evangelist and author Pastor Greg Laurie. Our John Jessup recently spoke with him about the book, Johnny Cash, The Redemption of an American Icon.
And with us now is Greg Laurie. He is the author of a new book out called Johnny Cash, The Redemption of American Icon. Pastor Laurie, I know you're a very busy man, but apparently you like to keep even busier. You had a biography or spiritual biography about Steve McQueen, and now you have this one about Johnny Cash. Why are you deciding to write these books?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, John. I didn't set out to write this book on Johnny. I set out to tell a story about Steve McQueen, who was the #1 actor of his generation, because I'd heard he had become a Christian toward the end of his life. And after some research and meeting the people that knew him, including his widow and his friends and others, I thought, wow, this is a story that needs to be told. So after it came out, it was very well received. We made a documentary film along with it as well that you can watch on iTunes. But anyway, people would ask me, are you going to do another book on some well-known icon that was a Christian? And I said, well, you know, if I did, I would do it on Johnny Cash. So I have a great helper in my co-author, Marshall Terrell, who did a lot of research. And so now this book is out, Johnny Cash, The Redemption of an American Icon. Different from my first book, that was Steve McQueen, The Salvation of an American Icon. Here's a contrast between McQueen and Cash. McQueen was your basic non-believer searching for meaning in life, came to faith toward the end of his life. Johnny, in contrast, was raised as a Christian and believed at an early age, but strayed from it and returned to the Lord later in life. So Johnny was literally raised picking cotton, and it was backbreaking, very difficult labor there in Arkansas. He had an older brother named Jack he was very close to, and if people saw the film Walk the Line, starring Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon, they'll remember this accident his brother had, which resulted in his death, dramatically impacted Johnny's life because he looked up to his older brother. Johnny had a very harsh, austere father named Ray, who actually said after his son died, Johnny's brother, he said, God took the wrong son. What a thing for a kid to live with. So Johnny was always trying to measure up. He was a bit insecure. But, you know, he had this incredible musical talent, and he met Sam Phillips, who was the producer there at Sun Records, who discovered Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis, Carl Perkins, and they became known as the Millionaire Quartet. So Johnny went off and had a huge career, with songs like, I Walk the Line, of course, and Ring of Fire, A Boy Named Sue, Folsom City Blues, or Folsom Prison Blues, and many others. And then, but even at the peak of his popularity, John, he had a TV show that was a huge national hit, and he used it as a platform to share his faith, and even had Billy Graham on it, and would sing gospel songs all the time. But Johnny also had his personal struggles with amphetamines and other areas. So his was a up and down life, but one where he ultimately deepened in his faith and commitment to Christ.
Pastor, you just talked about his music and his huge repertoire. Can you talk about the role of his faith and how that maybe played a little bit of a part for him to resonate with so many different fans?
Well, the reason that Johnny made it to the age of 71 is because he had that faith. As he got older, his health was not good, and his wife, June, would nurse him, and much to his shock, she died before he did, and it was devastating to him. But Johnny persisted on, and an interviewer asked him, well, Johnny, has it affected your faith? He said, I have an unshakable faith. And so that's really presented in this book, his faith, how his faith sustained him, how his faith literally saved him, how Christ saved him. And if there's hope for a guy like Johnny Cash, there's hope for everyone.
And Pastor Greg Laurie, where can people find your book?
Well, you can order it at Amazon.com, probably at a bookstore near you. It's out there now, and it's available August 20th.
Congratulations, Pastor Laurie, on your new book. It's called Johnny Cash, The Redemption of an American Icon. We wish you much success. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
And Pastor Greg Laurie is also getting ready for his huge SoCal Harvest Fest, which starts today. It runs through the 25th, and you can watch it right here on the CBN News Channel for the next 3 nights. It begins at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Still ahead is the first ever multi-season television show about the life of Jesus. We're going to give you a close look at the series when we come back. Stay with us.
It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
Young people, millennials, are flocking to church.
It's not an exaggeration to say that we love to meet them and that we love to know their stories.
Come home to the Southern Gospel Station from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites. CBN Southern Gospel. Available now at cbnradio.com.
Woohoo! Hi, Superbook fans. Here's something else you'll love. It's the new Superbook Bible app. It's packed with games, activities, and Superbook episodes that you can watch for free. Oh, no! There's trivia, a fun daily devotional, and answers to your Bible questions. Plus, an easy-to-understand Bible the whole family will enjoy. You can even create your own Superbook character. Ta-da! Whoa!
Phillipsburg Falls man, come.
Sorry, pardon me. Sorry, excuse me. Ouch!
Are you getting this?
Earn super points to win daily prizes too, and so much more. Time to get back to my adventures. See you soon. It's the new Superbook Bible app. Free downloads on iTunes, Google Play, and Amazon.
There is a series that brings the Bible characters to the screen and chronicles the life of Jesus. It's also the largest crowd-funded media project ever to be produced in history. Here's a closer look at The Chosen.
How much do you trust me?
With my life.
Let me talk to the tax man.
Matthew, don't trust you that much.
Bible characters and stories are alive again in The Chosen, the streaming series about the life of Christ. And Dallas Jenkins is in the writer and director's chair.
Fishing didn't exactly go like I planned the other night.
What's that got to do?
I caught nothing. Net after net after net, empty.
What's it like to take the pages of Scripture and bring them to life? I can't imagine the feeling of reading the pages and then seeing what we get to see.
Yeah, that's really cool how you just phrased it. Bringing them to life and then seeing them. That's how I feel, even though I'm the one who's doing it. I'm the director, and I'm the one who's literally writing the words and seeing them come to life, and I'm even dictating how they come to life. And yet I still feel like I'm following along and I'm just listening.
On the day of our visit to the set of The Chosen, preparation is being made to shoot a pivotal scene just beyond that wall, the wedding at Cana, where Jesus performed his very first miracle.
That's good, Russ. Anchor that off.
Telling Bible stories is very familiar for this director. His dad is Jerry B. Jenkins, co-author of the popular Left Behind series.
How do we get here for you to be doing a series on The Chosen, familiar with your film? How do we get here? What happened in Dallas's life that this is now what you're doing?
Failure, ironically enough. So I think my whole life has been building towards this moment because, I'm a Bible believer. I have been since I was a child. My father is a storyteller. My father wrote books about the Bible, wrote books about the Christian life. So I've been immersed in that, and so I feel like I'm ready to tell these stories, but I wasn't planning on it as of 2 years ago. A little over 2 years ago, I was planning on making multiple movies with some of the biggest producers in Hollywood, which I had the opportunity to do with a movie called The Resurrection of Gavin Stone. When that movie failed at the box office, and suddenly I went from being, in about an hour, I went from being a director with a bright future, multiple movies ahead of me with big-time producers, to a director with no future and no idea what was going to come next. I poured myself into a short film for my church's Christmas Eve service. And it was about the birth of Christ from the perspective of the shepherds. And it was intended to just be a Christmas Eve experience for our church.
And shall call his name Emmanuel.
And while I was doing it, I had the idea for this show, but I didn't know where it was going to go. Long story, very, very short. Next thing I know, the short film is on Facebook. It becomes a crowd-funded opportunity, which I thought was ridiculous. I thought it was never going to work. Crowdfunding never works, and it's usually for small projects. And it ended up taking on a life of its own, and here I sit with you in Texas on the set of the project, and we're already in episodes 5 through 8.
Crowdfunding did more than just work. When these long credits roll here, it shows the #1 crowdfunded media project in history.
How God is that? I mean, for this to not happen the way anyone
Not one bit of this project has happened the way that anyone expected, certainly me, and that's what's so cool about the story of The Chosen. So the characters that we're showing you in the episodes that we're showing you are all about people whose lives had their, apple carts turned upside down. And they had no idea what was coming. They had no idea what their lives were going to be like after they encountered the creator of the universe in human form. And so telling these stories has actually become way more natural today than it would have been a couple of years ago, because I'm in a similar position that they are.
Leave me alone. Mary. Mary of Magdala. Who are you? How do you know my name? Thus says the Lord who created you.
Coming up, you never know where you might find a Bible verse. It's a cool story about a business who shares God's word on its products and packaging. Stay with us.
We will move the American embassy to the eternal capital of the Jewish people, Jerusalem.
As the nations rage,
you can stand with Israel.
History is being written, and I want to be a part of it.
Call 1-800-700-7000 and get to life.
This is our nature as a country.
Discover the untold story of how Israeli volunteers are changing the world.
We consider it our duty to reach out and help others around the world.
For a gift of $10 or more, you can own the acclaimed CBN documentary To Life.
To treat a human, no matter what he is, which religious he have, which color he is, this is what I'm doing.
Support Israel in their time of need. Get to Life, now available on DVD. Call 1-800-700-7000 or log on to cbn.com.
And I wish that other people throughout the world could see this side of Israel.
Orphans Promise is committed to loving and serving at-risk children, to helping keep families together, and to creating opportunities for strong and sustainable communities around the world. We're working in over 60 countries around the world, and with your help, we can do even more. There's an old African proverb I love that says, if you want to run fast, run alone. But if you want to run far, run together. At Orphans Promise, we want to run far so we can touch the lives of as many orphaned and vulnerable children as possible. But we don't want to go alone. We're out to change the world, one child, one family, one community at a time. Will you join us?
And welcome back to CBN NewsWatch. There are a number of popular Christian companies that are known for embracing and living out their biblical values, like Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby. These Christian businesses are on the forefront of not only providing stellar service, but also fully living out the gospel message. Others even put Bible verses on their products. They include In-N-Out Burger, which prints verses like John 3:16 and Proverbs 24:16 on the bottom of cups and wrappers. Founder Rich Snyder decided early on to use his company to share his Christian beliefs. Forever 21, founded by Christians, also puts John 3:16 on the bottom of its shopping bags. Another burger restaurant, Cookout, puts various verses on its products and plays Christian music in most of its stores. And Gold Hen Eggs, packaged by Roseacre Farms, also put Psalm 118:24 inside the cartons. The eggs are sold at Aldi grocery stores. Right now, it is time for your Friday Faithful, and today I want to leave you with this thought. The love of God is overwhelming. It reaches you at your lowest and rises to greet you at your highest. There is no greater love. With that word, I encourage you to make today a fabulous Friday, and be sure to have a wonderful weekend indeed. That is going to do it for this first edition of CBN NewsWatch. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, you can find more of our news programs on the CBN News Channel at any time or online at cbnnews.com. Also, we would love to know what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do that by emailing us. That address is newswatch@cbn.com. And of course, you can always reach out and touch us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Again, make it a fabulous Friday. We'll see you Monday.